Hi everybody, so this is going to be the first video that we put out for our channel and for this page. We thought that it would be fitting to tell our story of the past 7 years of our life, not our entire life story, but the past 7 years of our lives since we've been back home in Indianapolis, Indiana. Because a lot of stuff is, the whole reason really why we're even doing this page is because of our journey over the past 7 years has been a little up and down, and we thought we would share that with you guys. So our story is it's a little bit unusual, and it might be surprising to some of you guys, but we just kind of wanted to share it and just have kind of some transparency here, and just want to tell our story. And so basically, I guess 7 years ago now was 7 years now.
7 years is 7 years to 7 years November.
Right, in November it'd be 7 years. So we used to live in New York City, which a lot of people know that we used to live in New York for about 10 years, about a decade of our life. But the funny thing is that people always ask me, I know they probably ask you too, why would you leave New York to come back to Indiana? Like, that's such a big contrast, the New York and Indiana. And I just want to put out there real quick that I know New York is different than Indiana in a lot of different ways. Obviously the energy is much different there.
But it's not better.
But it's not better. Exactly. It's not better. I don't view it that way. I'm very proud of where I'm from. I am from Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where I'm from. However, New York will always be, I consider it a second home. I don't know if you will, but I always consider it a second home to me because we moved there in our mid-20s to our mid-30s. So that's a lot of growth. So, but I don't find it to be like better. It's just that it's just different. It's a little bit more, the energy's just more lively in New York. So, but yeah, I just want to kind of put that out there. It's not better, it's just different. But yeah, so we I knew that I wasn't going to be living in New York all of my life.
I think I knew that when I first got there.
Okay, so yeah, right.
So I knew I needed to be there.
Yes.
But I didn't think I was going to live my life there.
Right, okay. So I agree. So that's kind of on the same page there. So we were kind of ready to leave anyways, and so we decided to come home. Now, the reason why we came home, or reason why speaking for myself, the reason why I came home is because I was in I guess you can say a longer term relationship. And it was also a long distance relationship, and he was wanting it to not be long distance anymore and just kind of begin my life with him. And so Indiana was supposed to be kind of a pit stop for me, and then I was going to be moving to a whole nother state. That's why I moved here. You moved here.
I just wanted to come home, and then I ended up meeting someone who happened to be here. So,
right.
That was it with that for me. That was just it. I was here. I was going to start my life over here, maybe Texas somewhere, but I happened to meet someone who happened to be in Indianapolis, so I kind of felt like, okay.
You want to see what the opportunity was.
Yeah, I want to see what that was about,
okay.
Because I was in dating mode,
right?
And ready to go on to more things like marriage and things like that.
Me too. So we're both basically we were both leaving New York because we wanted to, and we're ready to, but then also there was also opportunity for relationships kind of flourishing. There was the potential of,
and it happened to us at the same time.
And this is the ongoing thing with us in life, and it's like a joke that we always have is whenever Karen and I are trying to split, somehow
the universe brings us right back together.
It brings us back together every single time, and we don't mean for that to happen, I promise you, but that's just how it happens. So I think everything happens for a reason. But anyway, so we moved back home. Now, everything was fine. I mean, we'll leave the New York stories for another time, but leaving New York was fine, getting in the cab was fine, getting to the airport was fine. Everyone at the airport was lovely. And got right through, great flights, got back home into Indiana, landed in Indiana, and again, everybody's very sweet. Indiana airport's great, we're doing good. When we got our luggage, okay, so when we got our luggage, it all kind of went downhill kind of immediately. So there was a miscommunication with our ride to our hotel. We had a hotel we had reserved, and some plans, and there was some miscommunication. So we weren't able to get to our hotel because we also had money tied up
somewhere else.
So I was waiting for the money the next day. Okay, it was a whole thing. And so we weren't able to get to our hotel. So we ended up spending
the night at the airport.
At the airport. We ended up spending the night at the airport. Okay. So, but, okay, we're not blaming anybody. It's fine. We took full responsibility for that. I mean, we're adult women. We should know, we should be able to have the finances to get to where we need to be. So I'm not blaming anybody on that. No one's fault. So we get to the, so then we spent the night at the airport, and then the next morning, the money kind of came through, and then we got to our hotel, and that when we kind of had to regroup from spending the night at the airport. I was speaking to my boyfriend at the time on the phone, and about, he was like, "Oh, you just at the airport? Why are you not at the hotel yet?" Well, and I could tell that he was a little bit like put off by the fact that I didn't have like a ride. For some reason, I felt weird. He was different. It just felt like he was different, and I could tell he was kind of put off by that, and that's important to the story because of later on. And then the guy you were...
So the guy that I was meeting, we had not met personally, but nothing was wrong with that yet. But I did, when I finally did meet him, he wasn't what I thought he was going to be. And it didn't work out at all. It was immediately over, instantly. You know what I mean? And so it was just interesting because here we met two people in the same time, and we were leaving to start our life again, just to have issues with these same two men at the very exact same time. You know what I mean? And it was just unreal. Like again, really? Like our life is always
aligned
in some way. Like if something happens to the other, it's like it could be completely separate situations, and it still like ends at the same time. It was so weird because she was on like an engagement situation where she was gonna get married, and I was in a beginning of learning about someone's situation, and who I thought he was in that at all.
So it got kind of all. It was a bad vibes. Landing in it was bad. I'm not blaming Indiana completely, but it's just that it was. We knew. I feel like I knew.
It was like when you see that when your life falls apart on all angles. And then people go, "Oh, when you got home, it must have been, like within a month or so." No, it happened when we landed in Indianapolis. You know what I mean?
It all went downhill.
It literally unraveled on every area of my life. You know.
So then when we got to the hotel, we kind of regrouped, and we were kind of just displaced. We didn't the connection with our family didn't go as we thought it was going to go. We were gone for a long time, y'all. I mean, we were gone for a long time. We didn't really visit Indiana a lot when we were in New York.
I mean, in fact, the last time we'd been in Indianapolis was 5 years ago.
Yeah, so it was. So
5 years
the connection with that family didn't kind of happen naturally like we thought it was going to, and that's whatever. I mean, it is what it is, but things have progressed since then, but at the time, no. So it was just me and Kara, and we were literally like, okay. So I started to feel like my relationship wasn't going to work out. I feel like I haven't even really said it to you before. Maybe I have, but I felt like he was acting very different immediately when I got home. It was almost as if he was trying to keep me. He didn't want me to move to the state where he was at. So it's like he was trying to keep me here. I kind of felt like he was trying to keep me here, and so I started to realize quickly that I was going to have to be in Indiana, and not that I was okay with that. It was just that I wasn't prepared. Now the preparation part, we could have been more prepared. I'm just gonna put it that way. That's no one's fault. We could have been more prepared to come back home. I was in the mindset that I was going to be moving to another state and starting my life with this person and madly in love, all of that. And it did not happen. So I realized very quickly that, like he's acting funny. So it's going to be, this might not work out well. Well, that is true. It did not work out well because he called me and broke up with me and told me he didn't want to be with me. So he broke it off with me. So my vibe was right. And I was now in Indiana without a job, both of us, without jobs, without a car, transportation. We didn't really have connection with anybody in Indiana, including family. It was just me and Kara, and we had to kind of figure that out. We did have some money, a little bit of money yet left, but it was kind of dwindling down very quickly because we were having to use it now on hotels and that whole thing.
And also, I want to say that coming home, once we did, it wasn't just the money then the money, all that was lost. It was also the feeling of depression, of feeling like you failed and feeling scared,
embarrassing,
and being, in your mid-30s and not being prepared, and humiliated about that, of severe depression, and
it was
being homeless. I've never been homeless in my entire life. I don't even know what that even felt like, and to feel
displaced
and irrelevant to the world when you don't have the comforts of your life to fall on, when you're heartbroken, and when you're it's really not just the outer things, it's just how it also makes you feel. It's hard to move forward because you feel so incredibly lost.
Right Yeah, I agree. Now we had a family member we did not know, but we communicated with in New York, just talking to this person. It was a cousin of ours, and we had not met him yet. He's kind of new to the family. That's a whole story. New to the family, but he was kind of he was a saving grace for us, because he said, do you guys want to come stay with me? Now, it's not in our personality to just go and stay with anybody, but to be honest with you, we had no other options. The hotel situation was very expensive, and we just took the offer because we needed to be somewhere. And we wanted to reserve some of the money that we had, so we did. And thank you to him. Should I say his name? No. Okay. But thank you to him for that, and he knows who he is. But so we stayed with him. Well, that was interesting because we're not used to being with we're independent.
We're independent women. We've worked our whole life. I've worked since I was 15 years old. I've left when I was 19 years old. I'm not a girl that goes home to their mother or relies on their family for things. Not to say that my mom has not helped me. The whole reason I went to New York was because my mother was able to help me with that. But we're not the kind of people that rely on anyone, men, family, or anything to get us out of anything. It's always been us together, or we've just separately been able to pull ourselves up.
Right.
So when independence is taken away from people who are independent, inside it makes you feel crippled,
right?
And it makes you feel helpless, and it scares you. It scares you because you don't want to have to rely on anybody financially, or for your safety, or for your self, your self-care. Like it's terrifying,
So we found ourselves in a position where we had to take this offer, this help, because we were homeless. I mean, that's that. I can color this up all I want to, but we were literally homeless, and so he let us stay with them. So we did, and then things got a little weird there. I don't say weird in a bad, terrible way, but we were just uncomfortable, and it was time to go. But we didn't have any money to go anywhere. This is kind of like it gets darker. Okay, right. We didn't really have any money to go anywhere. Our money was running down. We had enough money maybe to get a couple more nights at a hotel, or 3 or 4 nights at a hotel. So money came through, and Kara was like, okay, so we're going to have to make a decision here because we literally have nowhere to go. And we have this little bit of money that came through now. And so she said, I think that we need to get out of this situation. So I think we should go to a shelter. We have to make a decision. And that was like a very sobering reality. I have never, it's a very sobering reality because we've never been.
If anybody's had to face shelter,
it
is a feeling of complete.
It is it's a failure feeling that you get, and it's just a humiliation and embarrassment and fear, just really fear. And so we made the decision we're going to go to the shelter. So when the next day we were going to go, and we changed our minds, and we checked into the hotel. We're like, no, let's go to the hotel. Something was pulling me to the hotel in general. I don't really know, just something was pulling me there. And so we did. And, a lot of shelters in Indiana were really, at the time I researched it because we were going to be going there, they really only taking women that were obviously battered and women with children. And we certainly didn't want to be people who take up beds from a child. Yeah, so that obviously that's the priority. So we used that money to just go to the hotel. So we went to the hotel and we're able to kind of have our own space a little bit. And, that was years ago. Now, Gary and I are still living in a hotel, to be honest with you. Now, that to a lot of people, that's going to sound, to the outside, that I know how that sounds. It's going to sound very like, oh my God, these poor girls. And I get that, because at first I was thinking that too. But as time went on, and even now, this is the biggest blessing, and this is probably one of the biggest blessings in my life. Like, I don't even know how to put that. It is not a woe is me situation at all. We are fine. Kara and I get along. You guys know that. So it is what it is. But yeah, we're still in a hotel, and we work in a hotel too. So it's kind of very convenient. It ends up being extremely convenient for us. I don't know, just the whole being able to just think and regroup and have our own little space and just to regroup with it. So, but yeah, we end up staying in the hotel. The problem is that money was running out. Remember, we only had a little bit of money. We only had I think it was like 100. Well, it was like a little bit of money we had left or something.
We had enough for a week.
Yeah, and so we did that, and then it just started to money started to get really scarce, and so and then money was gone. And then money ran out. Okay, there was that moment when money ran out, and so I was looking for work, obviously looking for work, and wherever I was going to look for work, it was going to have to be in the vicinity of the hotel and walking distance, because when I say we didn't have any money, not enough money to take a bus, not enough money to take a cab, none of that stuff, So wherever I was going to go, it was going to be in walking distance. So I did that. There was a little strip mall up the street from the hotel, and I literally went to each of those businesses and was asking if they needed help. They were, and they, like old school style, where you're pounding the pavement, and no one was hiring. I put out a couple applications, but no one was hiring. I got to a Starbucks, and Starbucks was hiring. However, everything was done online, and I had no access to that at the time. So I was like, great, wonderful. So I remember another kind of like, so I guess sobering thought for me or time for me was when I was in Starbucks, and I remember sitting there and just thinking like, wow, like I can't, there's no work at all. There's no work at all. And or at least in my vicinity, there was no work. And I remember just sitting there, and I looked in my wallet, and I had a nickel in my wallet. Like I had a nickel left to my name, like a nickel, 5 cents left to my name. And I remember just saying to myself, God, if I can just find work, I can somehow get myself back get going. Like I can get the wheels going. I mean, if I can just find work, I can figure this out. I can somehow figure this out. But it was just a no everywhere I went. And then so I was like, okay, it is what it is. I needed to go back to the hotel because I was just tired. And on my way back, the hotel was like 7 minutes away from where I was at. I walked back to the hotel. When I got into the hotel, the owners of the hotel were standing there at the front desk, and they said to me, "Do you need a job?" And yes, I was like, wow, that I just asked for that. I just 7 minutes prior to that on my walk home, I just asked for that, and they said you need a job. It was full time. I have never worked in a hotel before. Ever worked in a hotel before. I knew nothing about the business, but I was like, yes, and more yes. And, so I took the job, and that's when, I don't want to say things started to turn around. Well, things were turning around. When we get a job and situation, it started to look up a little bit because the owners were very, very cool people. They, just amazing people. And I'm sure one of the owners is probably watching this, because I know that she's, likes the page or whatever, but they provided, oh my God, there was so much comfort. We worked for our room, but the kind of peace they gave us, they didn't bother us, Go ahead.
They just,
it's okay. Sorry, go ahead. It just got emotional. It's an emotional, guys. This is such an emotional story for us because
it's not a sad story.
It's not sad.
It's not a sad story. It's an emotional story,
right? And because
only because had I not moved on and learned some lessons here, that's why it's emotional.
Yeah.
Because it's just like Danielle said, it's like the best thing in the world ever happened to me that I didn't think I needed, but it did. Because it changed my life,
right?
And the way I saw life, and the way I see myself in life,
right. It was the fact that I even got the job was like the timing. I don't want to get super, I'm spiritual, religious, or whatever, but the timing of the universe, God, whatever you guys want to call, it was amazing. That was really on time, and it was kind of a savior because we had nothing. The men were gone now. So now you can just add it up now, right? The men are gone. The money's gone. There's no way to get around. We could not get an apartment. None of that. It's kind of displaced from.
I had to go back to working minimum wage.
Yeah. It's another part of it, y'all.
Worked minimum wage since I was in high school.
And the job I took, it was minimum wage. Didn't care. To be honest with you, did not care at all. Just wanted to get back on my feet. But we were back at minimum wage again. And look, you got to do what you got to do. So soon after that, Kara ended up getting
housekeeping.
Yeah.
I work in housekeeping.
Yeah. So she's the housekeeper here, and then I work at the front desk here. And I don't know. I'm just amazed, I guess, at this whole journey because it was really, really difficult. But yeah, so we were really down to absolutely nothing. Like we had nothing. And
again, like I just want to say, when you come home from coming from a place like New York City, and then you come back to where you were raised, and you realize that walking to the store, people that you know, people who know that you were in New York,
happened,
people who you went to school with, people who were raised on this side of town, where we live, you're going to run into them. Yeah. You know that you're going to run into them even at your job. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of ego that goes along with having to face your own issues and your own decision, because everything that happened to me is nobody's fault but my own.
Right.
I did all this to myself. Nobody is to blame but myself, and the only person that can change it is you. But you have to be able to really face your own demons. You have to face the issues that you create for yourself, because nobody can do that for you. And a lot of times it's our ego that makes us do things to have to look good for other people. You know what I mean? It's so easy. I mean, we live on a social media world where that is what happens all day long on social media.
Yeah, and I feel that a lot of times, and I understand why people do this, but a lot of people are not telling their truth. And which is another reason why we wanted to do this video as our first video, just to kind of be very transparent. And and we're not ashamed of our lives, y'all. I mean, no one pays our bills, and we're not ashamed of our lives. It is what, and people look. You got to live your life the way it's supposed to be lived. But I do, like I said, this is a lot of reason why we want to do these videos, is because I think a lot of people are not telling their truth, and they're doing. And I get it, because when you're going through a hardship or something that's humiliating or embarrassing, you want to feel like you're doing better than you actually are. And I have to say, that was me too. That was the reason why I didn't want to work. Right. I mean, it took Danielle to get me to walk to the store, because I was so afraid of people seeing me like that. I didn't realize my ego was that big. You know what I mean? And then I didn't care anymore after doing it for a couple of years. I didn't really care anymore. But it makes you realize that, everybody is on some level. Even me, that's why I'm not saying like it's not just people out and there's me. I mean, you don't want people to see you in your failures because you feel like judged. And you're trying to protect yourself. That's what your ego is for. Your ego is to protect you from anybody hurting you. And that's what my ego was, going from a girl who took care of herself, who always had a place to live, who had a job that always paid her well, who never had to walk anywhere, and embarrass herself, always had that. You know what I mean? And then have to have everything taken away from you. And then it really makes you feel like,
did I ever really have self-esteem?
Yeah, because what happens is that even when we were in New York, I feel like I know that I was, I mean, like, I wasn't really spending money the right way, that type of thing. So, although we were broke here in Indiana when we came home, the truth of the matter is, now I came to this conclusion not too long, well, we got a few years ago when I was telling Kara that the truth of the whole matter is that we were already going broke in New York. We were already going broke. We were buying stuff and lunch. We were we were going out. We were acting like I don't know what we were doing. We were going out to lunch every day, coffee here and then Starbucks and this, and buying all these, doing the most, right? We got paid well, I'm not going. We got paid well in New York, but yeah, we were already going broke. So this happening to us was actually happening for us, and we didn't realize that until a couple of years ago. And I believe that we kind of need to be stripped of everything in order to get the message. You got to do better. You got to do better, and this is the reason why people are always quick to blame the devil on saying, "Oh, the devil's working hard today." And sometimes it's not the devil, y'all. Sometimes God is literally trying to change you, and you're not listening. We didn't. I didn't listen, and so what God did was just take it all away, and in hopes that we would rise above it, and we have. Our circumstance right now, although we're still in the hotel and all that, is I have never been. I can't even be able to say this, but I've never been this happy, I guess you can say, in my life with having so little. Do you feel like?
I mean, I feel like I've never been more prouder of myself. I've never felt more secure in the divine.
Yeah.
I've never felt
some dark moments there, y'all.
What I mean? And
dark
I think
moments.
A lot of it is sometimes we don't even really know how unhappy we are until something bigger than us strips us
100%.
And makes us see it, because we're so used to using things to make us feel better, and I think that when I started feeling better was when I stopped feeling depressed and started feeling sorry for myself and start doing things to make myself feel better. This is the reason why a lot of you know that I started working out, and there was a reason why I started working out, and it wasn't because I was trying to get thin. It was because all I did was get on a treadmill that had been in this hotel this whole time, that I decided not to even work out. I get on a treadmill for 20 minutes and realize how out of shape I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And here I can work out for free in a gym that's available to me because I pay rent here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get on and I end up losing a lot of weight, but it wasn't just the weight that I lost. It was the things that working out gives you. It gives you the feeling of moving forward.
Yeah.
It gives you the feeling of feeling good about yourself. The weight is just a byproduct of working out. But the benefits of getting that is moving forward and understanding that things change, because when you start seeing your body change, you realize that things don't stay the same forever when you change. When you change the way that you view yourself, then you start acting on that. Things will physically start to change. You know what I mean? And it taught me that.
And we were
quickly,
we were so reliant on our image, right? And the way we look, and how to people, and not having some fancy job and all that, And the truth is that that's not the important. That's not the important thing. Like, and it's funny because I never got that before until this happened. That's why I say that this whole situation that we're in was a ginormous blessing, because I don't know if I would have come to this conclusion. Like, I feel like I would not have come to this conclusion that this was a blessing if I had not lost everything. But being in when we were late 30s, going into our 40s, with nothing to show for it, that's a lot. When you're that age and you have nothing to show for it, you're homeless. It's a very big. I don't know. It's a spiritual downfall. It feels like that, and you just kind of lift yourself back up. So I don't, But yeah. So as the years went on, things started to progress a bit. When I say progress, I am talking about financially and all that. Like financially, we're doing good.
Great.
Okay, I know that we're in the
Financially.
I get we're in the hotel. Probably sounds weird to some of y'all, but you know, we are using the resources we have right now. Kara and I are our resource, right? You know, because obviously eventually we're going to part. So, but yeah, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, like things have progressed because we were in a very dark place at the time, and the progression has been really good. I mean, it's been, I feel like it's been completely like a complete turnaround, and which led us to doing these videos. We just kind of wanted something to just to put some good energy out there in the world, and real energy too, like not showing people you don't have to be ashamed of your story, no matter what that story looks like. You really don't have to be ashamed of it. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to I don't know, like be
Well, I mean, for a lot of people, you know, again, especially with social media, people have a habit of performing, you know, performing for people. You know what I mean? Because we look at each other and we're constantly comparing, because that's what Facebook is. You get to see the life of your friends and of celebrities and things like that. And for some reason, if you're seeing someone live a life that you're not living, there's some part of you that thinks, well, if I don't live that life, I can sure as heck make it look like I am. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't do it deliberately. A lot of people really just do it because they want to feel good about themselves. They want to be able to put out something great about themselves, you know? And this is the reason why, I think this is the reason why I feel like we have to be careful about social media. Keeping up with the Joneses is basically what I'm saying. Like a lot of it's very easy to do that. You know what I mean? More so now in this time than ever before. Because, you know, literally people are, you know, which this was most people do in their pastime. All the time is just turn on a camera or take a picture or write something, you know, that they're feeling or maybe not feeling. They just maybe they just want to portray an image, you know. And I mean, me personally, I really never did anything like this because I'm a very private person. And I just don't really like showing everybody, you know, what I'm eating and what I'm doing and stuff.
Which is why this video is a challenge for Kara.
This is a challenge for me because I am.
For me too, but
this is a very big challenge because Danielle, I you know, offered this before. Like she asked me.
Last year. I told Kara, I said, I think we should do like a podcast. I've always wanted to do. First of all, I've always wanted to do a podcast. We talk our conversations, y'all. You have no idea. We have so many conversations every day. And I'm like, you know, why don't I fucking want to do a podcast. So I brought it to Kara last year. I knew she was gonna say no because I know Kara. I knew she was gonna say no, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna plant the seed though. I'm gonna plant the seed, and then maybe eventually something will happen. Well, then when I said it again this year, things we just been in a really good space, y'all. I mean, a really good spiritually, mentally, like it's all been very aligned. And it's been a long time coming. Like I told you, it's been 7 years since we've been home. So it's like a 2013 is like our rebirth, because that was this has been a very interesting journey. But it's been very aligned. So I don't know, these videos, I know that what I'm hoping, especially through our story, is that that you're getting out of this particular video is that do not be ashamed of your life. Don't be ashamed of your stories. You know, I'm not saying that everyone has to go out there and do what we're doing right now.
And I mean, and also if you're feeling bad about where you are, don't think that something is happening to you. Don't write it off as the devil. Don't write it off as other people are making things wrong. And I've learned a lot in this space is that when you take responsibility for every area in your life that bothers you, whether it's with opposite sex, with relationships, whether it's with relationships at work, whether it is work, whether it's your weight, whether it's your finances, that when you take responsibility for that, you give yourself power and you become less of a victim and you become more of a victorious person, because now you don't allow people to dictate you. You're not allowing people to tell you that, you know, create your day. You're not telling people that, you're not letting people make you mad.
Yeah.
You choose that.
I
You
can-
choose who
yeah.
can go in your space. You choose the money you spend. You choose not to work out. You choose to be in a relationship where someone treats you bad. You choose that. You know what I mean? And when you accept that for yourself, then that's a very higher.
It's not my ex-boyfriend. It's funny because it's not my ex-boyfriend's fault that, I mean, okay, so our, relationship, he has his stuff, right? But ultimately, I knew that there was a problem there that I was being in denial about, right? I suppressed it, act like it wasn't happening or whatever, and then boom, I got dumped. So, but I can't 100% blame him for that, right? I can't 100% blame, my money loss on, like New York. And no, I can't do that. I can't blame at the earlier times, the connection with our family on them. Like this is a back and forth thing, so take ownership of your life. I feel like you should take ownership of your life. And it's done nothing but, set me straight. Like it really did set me straight. It made me realize.
It's really set me free.
Yeah.
It set me free of ever feeling like in bondage.
Yeah.
In bondage, not just with the political climate, but just in. You make me realize that I'm more in charge of my finances.
Yeah.
I'm more in charge of the people that I lay down with, or people that you have to blame yourself. If you can't find blame in yourself in any part of your life, then you're playing victim.
Yeah.
And if you think that that's going to help you, you're going to really find yourself in a really long life of unhappiness.
Yeah.
Because the things outside of you are not going to make you feel better, and the things outside of you really can't ruin you.
Yeah,
it's all internal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's what this whole situation, this me being in this situation, has really taught me. That I'm really in charge of my life, my circumstances, everything that it happens to me. I drew that to me.
Yeah.
And every time I don't fix it, or anytime I try to act like it doesn't matter, or it doesn't exist, I let it persist. It's just going to keep happening until I say, okay, well, this is something I did. I get it now.
Yeah, right. And so it's completely changed our lives. And like I said, this is a humongous blessing, and we really wanted to share this story with you guys. And I did a video a few years back when this first happened. I know some of y'all probably remember that video, talking about this story, right? And I did it for a different reason at that time, but I didn't tell like the details of the story, because my story is my sister's story, because we were going through it together. So I chose not to tell like every little bitty thing. But when Kara said that she was wanting to speak now, and I just thought, okay, well then that's perfect, because now people can see that we can show people at least that you can come back from hardship, and even if you're still in it, you can still be happy. You can still be happy. It is really okay. You can still be happy. And that's what we want to bring forth to you. And we know this first video, we know it's a little bit deep. We get it. We know it's a little bit deep, but it's our
we
truth.
Feel like
it's our truth.
We feel like we can't have a show about discussions if we can't even talk about ourselves and our own problems. Right. How can you tell other people or not even tell people how to live, but just give people advice or give people anything, and you can't share your hardest, embarrassing, most traumatic moments, because when this happened to me, I realized for the first time why people kill themselves, because I felt not that I wanted to do that, but I've never felt so irrelevant than I did when I first came home. I never felt that irrelevant in my entire life. And now I realize, when you feel like you have nothing, you see why people do the things that they do, why people are hurt, and why people just let go of life. They feel there's no other way. And I did feel that way. I didn't feel like I wanted to do that, but I did understand immediately why people just leave.
And when I just was trying to say, as Kara's trying to say, like, don't give up on yourself. Do not give up. You have to just keep going. But, we want to be as relatable as possible and as real as possible. So we want to wrap it up. We'll be wrapping it up then. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's it.
Okay, you guys. Well, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just wrap this up. So I know it's probably this video's. I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know how long any of these videos are gonna be. We don't have any kind of set plan on time and all that. We just want to talk and bring up topics and see what y'all think and get some input. And just kind of have fun with it. Obviously, not every topic's going to be deep, but if it gets deep, then this is what it is. Okay, it just kind of is what it is. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. I hope this resonates with somebody. Like, I hope y'all not looking at us like, why do they just share all their? Why they share? They just.
And I feel like it's refreshing, to even I'm talking about for myself. I think this is just refreshing for me just to get it off my chest sometimes. Right. Not just to tell it to you because you're going through it, but but also just to, I don't think 7 years in this situation with me it can't do anything but help somebody. Yeah. I don't think that it can. I don't think I went through all this just for someone to not feel this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hear too many other stories, and it hits me hard. That I know that this story has to feel. Somebody's got to feel something.
People's stories have literally helped me. That's another thing. The people's stories have helped me. Just help me, and so I just hope that our story can help you. So that's it, you guys. Tell us what you think about this video, or just and thank you guys for even liking the page. We appreciate that. So I did a YouTube page. It's up now. If you guys want, I know not everybody comes on Facebook all the time and watches videos, but if you guys want to, you can go to our YouTube page. It's the same. I'll put the link somewhere on here. I'll put the YouTube page name. It's the same. It's Convos with Karen Danielle. It's the same. It's the same name. So if you guys want to go and subscribe to our YouTube page, that's going to be like another journey that we have no idea what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing exactly, but we're just doing it.
I still have no what I'm doing.
I can't. Kara does not. We're different.
I'm really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's really uncomfortable for me.
Uncomfortable, y'all, and
but I think you have to do stuff that makes you uncomfortable to get something different. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm way too in my comfort zone. And I'm someone I love the comfort of my own life and being with myself. And so expressing anything is way out of my comfort zone, especially with this sort of thing. It's just like, I need to do something different. You know what I mean? Like, I've been a little too secluded,
isolated.
I'm the kind of person that isolates. As soon as I want my privacy, I will get my privacy. I will not allow people in. That's just my personality. But I do feel differently now, so I do think it's time to express and move forward and do some things that you just really haven't done, and maybe so it can help someone.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, I'll edit that out. Okay, so, or maybe not. Okay, so you guys, thanks for listening. See you next time. As always, nope. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. Not as always, because we just started.
We did one. We did one introduction.
There's not
one video.
One video. There is no as always. What am I talking about? So we're
speaking it to existence. As always, we're gonna always have people watching.
What I meant to say is that we are going to have another video up next Tuesday. Okay,
so I'll be different. I'll be wearing my hair down sometimes.
Oh God.
You'll be wearing your hair up.
Yeah.
Back. And we'll be doing different things with our
look.
Well, just our conversation. I don't know if I'm going to keep this. This is how I wear my hair. It's curly.
You guys have a good day, and we shall see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.